Welcome to the Driver's Line. I'm Greg.
And I'm Jordan.
And today, we've got a conversation for you.
Yeah, our conversation today is all about the most beautiful cars ever produced.
That's right. So we're going to go through the history of the automotive industry, pick out all of the most beautiful cars, the breathtaking ones, the sensual ones, the right curves in the right places, and we're going to bring them right to you.
Yeah, so we want to stress here, these are not necessarily the most reliable cars or useful cars.
Or the most affordable cars.
No.
Starting off with the first choice.
Yes, for sure.
We're going to dive right into it at the top of the pile.
Yeah, so our first pick for this one comes to us from Italy, and it's probably one of the most coveted cars ever produced.
Yep. These things set records every time, they go to an auction. So whenever they roll across the auction block, the number just goes higher.
Yeah, to give you an idea of what that number might be before we even reveal this car, the last time one of these was sold, it went for over $70 million. 70 million, not 70,000.
No.
70 million.
Not 700,000.
No.
Not 7 million.
70 million.
70 million. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Of course, we were talking about the Ferrari 250 GTO.
Yeah, so the 250 GTO is one of those cars that was produced strictly to basically make a road legal version of a race car, right? Mm-hmm. And so few of them were actually ever produced. Only 36 of these, and hence the reason that they're so expensive, right? In addition to the fact that this thing is gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous. And one of the really cool features about these, considering the time they were made, they were actually, the metalwork was all done by hand. Mm-hmm. So every one of them is a little bit different. And that's just like that Italian craftsmanship, right?
Exactly.
Which just gives them, that just adds to the lore that they already have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's a really cool experience when you're actually driving something that is so unique, and I think that's what brings such value to this design, is that it does have those timeless curves, but it also has that unique charm to it that no other car really has at that era. So,
absolutely, yeah. For sure. So
love it.
It's really going to be hard to improve upon that, and I don't think that we can, but we can come close.
That's right. Yeah.
And we're going to come really close with our next choice.
Absolutely. So our next one comes to us not from Italy, but from England.
Oh, merry old England.
That's right.
Yes. Have a cup of tea in this one.
Yeah. So our next one, again, is just like a legendary pick. I think anyone who is an automotive enthusiast would know it. But honestly, even people who aren't necessarily into cars would probably recognize this, and it's the Jaguar E-Type.
That's right. So this literally identified the long hood, short deck design theory. This is basically where it came from, and is just one of the most breathtaking designs that has ever come across from the automotive standpoint. A lot of critics will actually say this is the best one. They think it's even better than the 250 GTO.
Well, you know what? I don't know about that.
It's hard to argue. I mean, you can make an argument either way because they are both just exquisite in their own ways.
The GTO has that race car feel, whereas this is way more like of a GT kind of feeling, especially with that convertible style. But obviously, it's available in a couple of different versions. But you can really tell the design of this was inspired by aircraft industry, and the designer Malcolm Sayer had that aircraft background, and he pulled that into this. So you can see that long hood inspired by those like P-51 aircraft, and it really transferred really well to a car, and that same formula continues on today.
It does. And to your point, someone that's a non-car person, when they think of the classic sports car, this is going to be what comes to mind. They're going to think about this.
Exactly. Beautiful, beautiful car. All right. So our next car also comes from England.
Yes, also comes from Jaguar.
Jag. Yes.
Jag actually kind of hit it out of the park with a number of cars over the years, and this one is specifically interesting because it's actually modern. So this is our first modern car on our list, and this is the spiritual successor to that beautiful E-Type.
That's right. So this car specifically was mentioned during its process as being inspired by the E-Type. And Ian Callum, the lead designer of the group for this, spoke to it several times about the way that they designed the concept car for this, the CX-16, based on a lot of the styling elements, again, that long hood, short deck feel. And of course, we're talking about the F-Type.
Oh, I just love the F-Type. I really, really do. And specifically the first generation non-revised version of the F-Type, because they tried to give it the corporate face in later years. Didn't work. We've talked about that before. But the original F-Type just looks so good.
Yes, I mean it's all about balance with that F-Type. It has the necessary aerodynamic features, the grill inlets and whatnot, the venting. But what really brings it home are the curved haunches, the tight body lines. It's designed with a purpose.
It does. The swept-back headlights. This is when Jaguar didn't care about having the corporate face. They were like, this is our halo car. This can stand alone. It doesn't need to look like everything else. And then, of course, then they changed their mind later and made it worse. But the original one is the best. It is the GOAT. Get that one if you're looking for a Jaguar. And these are actually reasonably priced now. You can get one of the most beautiful cars, full stop, ever made for like, 30 grand.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to have a beautiful car that sounds even good, you can get that Type R for just a few thousand
I know.
more.
And then just have a snorting supercharged. I mean, this is something that's always in the back of a car guy's mind.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
And that's what I really love about the F-Type is it looks fast sitting still.
It does.
It sounds great sitting still and driving.
Well, the crazy thing is, even like for the original version, right? The base model sounded good. That was the supercharged V6, right? And it actually sounded really good in and of itself.
It did. And just to not to beat a dead horse here, but the original front end was so perfect. Please do get that one. But what I also really like about this is the front looks great, but if you look at the back, it also is really super balanced, right? So it's not one of those cars where, it looks great from the front, but as it leaves you, it's horrible. Yeah. It's really well proportioned.
Really well proportioned, and that's something that they end up doing so well. They rolled it out to other vehicles in their lineup.
Yeah.
The F-Pace has a very similar back end. The E-Pace, the sedans, XE, XF, ended up kind of getting that very similar style on the back end because it was a really cool design and really worked well across the line.
Yeah. Now we have the Type 00.
Yay.
Anyway.
Upside down J and... Okay, anyways, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Well, we're sticking to Europe for our next pick, but heading over to Germany.
Yes, headed over to Germany.
Yeah.
Yes, the land of the Autobahn. And what better car to blast down the Autobahn in than the classic, beautiful, gorgeous, gull-wing Mercedes 300 SL.
That's right. I mean, you just lift those doors, you may as well take flight, right?
I know, just wings.
That car signifies that door style. I mean, whenever you hear gull-wing, that's the only car you think about.
It is the only car you think about. I mean, you don't think of the SLS.
Yeah. No.
Even though it's amazing.
It is.
But not nearly as amazing as the 300 SL, which is the one that really started codifying that.
Yeah, and what to me is really cool about the SL is it has so many extreme design features on it, but yet they can really make it look balanced on such a small car.
Yeah.
This thing is really tiny.
It is really tiny, and that really kind of is just something that goes with a lot of old cars versus new cars. We've had so many cars just get bigger and bigger and bigger in size. Really, the only one that hasn't is the Miata, but that's beside the point. But the original 300 SL is probably Miata sized, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Yeah, I mean, and that's, again, comes from purpose, right? A lot of these cars have purposeful design. This one, again, stems from its racing background, right? Like a lot of German sports cars at the time. It's a Le Mans winner. It had a base race car that's based off of, specifically, that one was the W194 that we're showing you here. You can see the lineage there. But it really brings it up a level in terms of like the road goingness because it has like the luxury nice interior. It has the special going door features, all the like intricate bodywork that's done around it, but it still looks like light and fast.
Yes, it does. I mean, it just has that, sensibility that it just is skating down the road.
Oh my
gosh.
Just
sliding down the road, just moving without actually being in motion.
It's actually a completely beautiful car. If you see one in person, just stand and admire it because they're so nice.
Yep. Another car that we like to stand and admire is actually we're taking our first trip back to the States.
Yeah.
So yay, America. And this one is from the 60s as well. I feel like we've got a lot of cars from the the 60s here because this is our third one now. So maybe that says something about automotive design where it peaked. But anyways, we're going to talk about this one next. And this one was a massive departure from its previous generation.
For sure.
Just signified a whole new direction in styling. It kind of, they decided to go, hey, we're going to go and think about sea creatures. We like that.
Yeah.
It's true. We're going to take a, dive underneath the sea.
Yeah. So sharks.
Yeah, shark. Oh,
Stingrays?
stingray maybe.
Yeah. So, of course, we're talking about a car that was literally only produced for 1 year in this current format, because I think Greg and I both really love the split window that's featured in the back of this, of course, 1963 Corvette Stingray.
That's right. So the split window was one of the design features they initially came out with because they really wanted to bring forward that body line that ran down the center of the car, and so they wanted to run that all the way to the tail where the gas gap is. Wonderful design feature, but a lot of the buyers of the car were like, "Hey, why do I have a window that I can't completely see out of?"
Right.
And so Chevrolet was like, "Okay, maybe you're right. We'll go ahead and fix it." But then, guess what became the most coveted version of the C3 Corvette?
Exactly. So a really nice example of those has sold for over $300,000. So that gives you an idea of how coveted that split rear window is. So coveted, in fact, that our newest ZR1 contains a split window design in the Corvette.
That is just unreal.
Yeah.
Not nearly as well executed as what we have on the 1963, but it's not bad.
No, it's not. I mean, when you have an engine right behind you, it kind of throws things off a little bit, right?
It does.
But,
it's fine. But this, again, kind of like we're talking about the 300 SL, nice compact size. You get next to one of these, it's not a big car.
Yeah.
Nothing like the new C8, obviously.
No.
I mean, the new C8 is huge by comparison, feels like a spaceship. This one is just a classic sports car proportions, really well executed design.
Fantastic car. Beautiful, beautiful. Speaking of beautiful cars, another legendary vehicle. This one, so legendary, it's valued at over $1 million. Okay. A fantastically beautiful car. And we're talking about the 1935 to 1936, going way back.
Way back.
The Auburn Bowtail Speedster.
Yes. Oh, this is just one of the classic, I can't even think of the era, right? Like the Hollywood era, right?
Yeah.
This is the car that you would see like a Hollywood starlet rolling around in, just that classic design. I think it was only 2 seats, right?
Yeah.
And I think it might have had a rumble seat in the back, but only 2 seats.
Yeah.
Just that classic, beautiful design. You could just bomb down, Hollywood Boulevard in this thing and just go to your movie premiere, have fun. I even had a classic Hot Wheel of it, and this to me was just signified just that era of time.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is like one of those last pre-war era cars that features those gigantically large fenders with that tapered narrow body, but so tapered, in fact, in the back, right? They call it a bow tail because it has that pointed rear end that's so unique and special. And a lot of modern manufacturers, like Rolls-Royce, for instance, right, tries to mimic that styling.
They do.
Recently. So such a successful design, so aerodynamic, right? That was kind of a whole purpose of that, inspired by the Duesenberg J for this particular one. You can see the trends there if you look at the pictures. But just such a uniquely beautiful car on its own.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
special.
Yeah, it just completely stands alone on its own, too. Yep.
Absolutely. So this next one, speaking of standing alone,
Speaking of Rolls-Royce.
Speaking of Rolls-Royce, yeah. And unique, only one made.
One.
All right. So this one's kind of a cheap one in a way because it was made by a coach builder.
There's also nothing cheap about a coach built Rolls-Royce.
In terms of skating the rules a little bit here, but yeah, definitely not cheap. Worth over $10 million in today's money. This is a very pricey car here we're talking about. All right, specifically, we're talking about the 1925 Rolls-Royce Phantom 1 Jacquerie Coupe.
Oof, that is a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. It's because it's made by a coach builder from Belgium, so it's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. Yes.
This thing is absolutely stunning. This has a circular door entry. How many cars have that?
Maybe it was built in the Shire.
But when you see it in person, it's just so intimidating. It's absolutely gigantic. And the design elements on it are really dark and ominous. And this also in the back, kind of similar to the bow tail when we're talking about it, has a really unique design feature in the back. It has a vertical fin, just one in the center. So it's kind of like airplane inspired.
Well, it's also like the ultimate baddie car, right?
Yeah.
If you're like a robber baron villain, this is the car you're gonna drive. You've got a fin on the back, one fin.
It is so cool. So cool.
And this is also coming from a time when luxury cars were just completely imposing, right? They were designed to be large, in your face, imposing, just like something that you kind of cowered from. You're like, oh, I got my Model T, but nope.
Oh, it's absolutely just a standout. And what also stands out about this is the first time that someone has modified the Rolls-Royce grill. I mean, Rolls-Royce is known for that straight up, like slotted grill, but this one actually curved in, and that was like a really big thing at the time. Like
really
no one
big,
did that.
I mean, so they don't even do it now.
Touch that. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So just such a cool car. And if you get a chance, it's at the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles. Go and see it in person, because pictures don't even do it justice, even though it looks so good on the screen.
Well, pictures just... The problem with pictures, they just don't give you the size, right? The enormity
crazy.
of this vehicle, because you're going to actually get that if you see it in person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Drawing our podcast here to a close, we are going to talk about yet another beautiful vehicle.
Yeah.
It's really hard to like try to stick these on level, so this is not in any kind of order that we've done today. We're just talking about a list here. But this one, comes from someone who used to build tractors. This one is definitely not a tractor.
No. In fact, it was built as the first supercar, and has such a cool development story. I will say that Jason Camisa does a great job. We'll link to that here, explaining the story behind this car. But we're talking about, of course, the Lamborghini Miura.
That's right.
So it's such a cool development story, developed by a young group of engineers, and they were tasked with basically like giving Lamborghini just a shot in the arm here, because they were just dying for some fresh product. And this thing just stood out at a time, so much so, build the first supercar.
That's right. It kind of, like a more modern version of that same story is the second Gen 4 GT, right? So it's basically just like a little skunkworks team. They're like, what can we make? And we're going to make something gorgeous. And they succeeded. It is, of all time, one of the top tier, mentioned everywhere, most beautiful cars of all time. And it is just fantastic. It comes in fun colors too, which is that's partly a sign of the times, right? Like, I mean, they did have a lot of fun colors back then, but every color of this thing comes in looks absolutely gorgeous. Green, yellow, blue, red. Like, I mean, just like loud, vivid Italian colors.
Yes,
love it.
And I mean, it's every little section of the car. Like, it doesn't matter if you just took a picture of any particular part of the car, there's a unique styling element on it, and you could immediately know what car it is, which is so cool. Even down to the wheels. I mean, such unique wheels too, which we've talked about fancy wheels before and how important that is, right? And I mean, just this car is so fantastic looking. I mean, it's a car that you just look at it, even sitting still in the driveway, and you're just like, wow, this thing has speed behind it. Yeah.
It's a shame that only 741 were made, but we're also fortunate that 741 were made.
That's true, because that keeps the value up to over $1.5 million. So,
very pricey.
Yeah.
Very
so
pricey.
Obviously, these cars are all gorgeous, but all pretty pricey, right?
Very pricey, except for the Jag.
For the Jag, that's true. That's a good value.
We actually get you one value proposition
here
on our list.
It's quite a stretch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm sure that there's other cars that you guys are thinking of as you're listening or watching to this that you're like, hey, what about this car? I think it's really beautiful.
Exactly. Let us know that in the comments. We're really interested to check it out.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on The Driver's Line.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss a thing.